Good morning, everyone. Happy week 2 of the Diamond Heart Project. And what a blessing it is to connect with you today and share and offer this information and just what's been coming through. It's this program of Diamond Heart Project is not a systematic, like the same thing each week. This is an intuitive-based program. It's about teaching you how to connect to that wisdom of the heart, the intuitions from their higher self, their purest being in every walk of their life, every moment. And so that's also how this program has been wanting to be designed, to be in the moment and to be offering what each specific group needs for the practice. And so all these recordings are recorded the week of the delivery or download or transfer of the recording into the group, because it's what the group needs for that week. It's always going to be different based on who's involved in the group and what practices we're sharing and all of that. And so it's really honored to have the signature part of this program be something that's unique each week, designed for the group. So like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, it's not the same every time for each group. It's based on what their group needs. And so something that came through really strongly, we just came out of that Lion's Gate portal that was the most potent thing I've ever experienced so far, and in the level of portal shifts was really powerful and incredible, and still navigating it, integrating it to the system. But there's something very clear that came through, and it was just a reminder about who we are. And so I want to share this talk with you about cultivate your life. And just to remind you all is we come from this oneness, we come this frequency from this energy. And there's a Buddhist koan that talks about that if you were to take an inner tube and put it into the middle of the ocean and watch it, you have more of a chance of a sea turtle coming and sticking up their nose into the middle of that inner tube than you actually have a soul being blessed to come be human. And so our entire human existence is all about the soul's evolution. Every moment, every experience, every relationship, every interaction is all to help develop or evolve the soul. And it doesn't matter if that moment is challenging, blissful, no matter what scope the experience is about, it's all helping the soul evolve. And so we come here to evolve the soul. And it's the beautiful gift about our soul being blessed to come be human. It's a beautiful blessing, and it's an incredible opportunity to come have this experience, or for our soul to evolve through the human experience and come to this space of matter or this lower dimensional field and come into form with itself and actually come into an expression of itself where it's put in a limited context of some sort, meaning like in the physical body, even though it's not limited, because your soul before it comes into form is expansive. It's this energy that is infinite. And it's like you're trying to draw the entire ocean into one drop of water. And so that's what happens when your soul comes into form, when your soul comes into this body. And so before you even come here, you make an agreement. You make different agreements with your soul to come through and have certain experiences happen in your life for your soul to evolve through. Maybe you also make the agreement to have a child. Maybe you make the agreement to have a partner, to have a loving relationship. The agreement to have a certain experience in your life, to help somebody at some point in time, some alignment. You agree with different souls to come in alignment with each other, to cross paths, to help each other through the process. Whether it's a soul that is not friendly or friendly, either way, there was an agreement of how to come into that space to give you an opportunity to express forgiveness or to express some context or some facet of the frequency of unconditional love of who we really are. And so we come into this form and we come into this body, and then we're given a breath. Like we're given a breath where we actually can intake the entire wisdom of the planet Earth that we were born into, and all of the elements and all of the information. It's all scoped into that breath. And then our exhale is what do we do with that breath? It's our thank you, it's our gratitude. We inhale the breath and we get all the incredible intelligence and wisdom and understanding, and we get the access of life in the inhalation of the breath. And then our exhale is what we do with it. And so this incredible context, as far as the ability to come be here and be given this opportunity to come be human, have this human experience, and then have the breath around that, being able to navigate this earthly plane and just have this playground. And sometimes we get so wrapped up in the gentleman who flipped us off as we drove down the freeway, or the unsettledness we felt by the clerk at the grocery store. Like, please don't get distracted by these things. it's important for you to come back and cultivate your life. Remind yourself with the very unique gifts and talents you chose to bring to this planet in this lifetime and express itself. You chose your eye color, your hair color, your gender, all the things about yourself is what you chose to be, knowing this is going to be the true expression and to support your expression of purpose into this life. So it's important for you to really embrace that and come into appreciation of that, of understanding around really harnessing that and cultivating your life around how do you choose you want to show up in the world. Not so much of a choice around this way or that way, but a choice around like reminding yourself, like the gifts and talents you brought, how do I want to express those into this world? And as being a human being or human species, that every creation up to this point in time, like had the ability to flow Christ consciousness and have the ability to flow the creative energy through itself. But the human species is the first technology advanced creation that can actually become co-creator of its life with what it's doing. Okay? So the point is you come into understanding about that. And through these practices, you come more into connection with the reminding understanding about that and begin to walk in that path of who and what you really are. So this is where we're talking about cultivating your life. And so today and this week, we're going to talk about some practices that really help support that. This entire Diamond Heart Project is going to help support that process. But it's just understanding about the importance of who we are and where we came from and what we're going to do. Each one of you is a work of art. Each one of you has a unique frequency within your being, a certain vibration that you call your soul, that has a certain gift to offer the world. You're not here to receive anything from the world. You're here to offer something. There's nothing here to figure out. You're here to offer something within your being that you already have within you. And through this practice of Diamond Heart Project, you're connecting truly within the connection of your heart. Remember, the heart is the first organ that's created in the womb. It's how the soul comes into form is through the access of the heart space. And so by accessing this information within yourself, you'll get more discovery around what the gifts and talents you brought to this world. And then how do you want that to look? It doesn't have to look a certain way. It's the way you choose to co-create in that expression of your life. So it's also empowering you to take your power back and to step into the fullness of your being. And just walk in this light of yourself. Doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges. Doesn't mean you're not going to have blissful moments. But the point is, it's really about how you want to enter those moments. Instead of reacting to the experiences, you get to take a step back and respond in the way you choose to respond. Every moment of your life is asking for one of three things, asking you to show up either realm of taking an action, holding space, or offering your truth. And so with the intention or with the connection of the Diamond Heart Project, you'll get to understand around how to show up in those moments, whether it be at work, a coworker, a family, with a child, by yourself. And so cultivate your life. And cultivating your life is your practices. And so these couple practices we're going to share today, one practice we're going to bring forth is QiGong. QiGong is an ancient practice. And it's really about harnessing what you might call your energy field. It's beyond that. It's bringing regulation. It's bringing balance to the system of how your four fields of body relate to each other. Your energetic body, mental body, emotional body, physical body. And how they relate and how they come into communion with each other. And so QiGong can be done many ways. There's no right or wrong path of QiGong. There's many, 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 many different lineages of QiGong, just like going to a yoga class. There's all different types of yoga practices, not just asana, but all different practices within the yogic structure, just like in the QiGong structure. There's many, many different lineages. Highly investigate you. The reason why I don't give you a lot of details around what to do or where to find it or what to do is because this is the time of you do some investigation. You pull up YouTube, and maybe there's 10 different offers or opportunities of different QiGong offerings. Feel which one's calling to you. The first one's not the right one. The last one's not the wrong one. Out of those 10 or out of those 15 or whatever comes up, scroll through. Which one calls to you? Maybe the opportunity, you go to the YMCA or you have a yoga, or you go to a yoga studio and all of a sudden they're offering QiGong on Saturday. Go check it out. Like really feel what's called to you. This is the whole part of the program is really tune into that inner wisdom, inner guidance that's happening in every moment. And so that's what I do. Before I really got into QiGong, I used to pull it up on YouTube and I used to look through the recordings, not watch them, but just feel what's been called to me and try it out, And so you will practice a certain unique QiGong lineage that I'm trained in called Ren Shui, and we will offer that class in a couple weeks. For you to practice it or for you to experience it and see how it resonates with you. But it's an ancient practice. And again, as I mentioned, it's about harnessing your energy, your frequency, and coming in bringing you back all together. And so really dive into that. I would really have you experience it for us, where we get into the lineage or the history of all about QiGong. They have these many arts that they practice in the different lineages of QiGong. QiGong is one art of it. They also practice everything from the healing arts, energy work, to the conscious work, to the martial arts. It's a whole thing for them, and QiGong is one segment of it that's just become well known. And so it's a process of movement, much slower movement than you might do in yoga, but you're moving through the energy. You might have ever gone through a class. They do a chi ball, where you hold your hands 4 to 6 inches away from each other, and you just sit there and breathe into your palms, and you begin to feel this kind of magnetic pull between the hands. And so that's the chi field. And so you begin to experience it and understand this is something that, just because you can't see, taste, or touch, or hear it, doesn't mean that it's not there. And so through these practices, we begin to tap into these higher dimensional realms that aren't always present in the realm of acknowledgement. You of course can acknowledge them, but present in the realm of like something you can identify in your human senses, or that it's there. The other practices we can work on, where we can begin to call in those clarity of things and see some things and feel some things, as we dive deeper into our practices. So we'll foreshadow there. The second one we'll talk about is going to be the hot and cold therapies. It's a beautiful, powerful way to take your power back, to empower yourself, and to really claim dominion over the mental body. The hot cold therapy is not something that can be quite challenging for the mental body. You go into a hot yoga class and it's 105 degrees at 50% humidity, and you're doing poses for an hour and a half, and your brain is like, get me out of here, I'm going to suffocate. You're not. But the point is, like, everything in your mind is telling you to get out. Just like stepping into a 32 degree, cold plunge. Your mind's telling you, get out. There's something here that's threatening to me, and I'm going to be injured from it. It's not true. So it's a beautiful way to work with the mental body and helping you overcome. If you feel you're somebody who's being mentally dominated in your life and the mind just runs monkey mind, nothing wrong with it. Don't judge it. But the point is, there are certain practices that we can begin to dial it in and realize that it is safe. And that it's safe to be calm, and it's safe to be in a process of thought as it goes through things, and not have such a reaction to things. A couple of tips with cold plunging. Highly advise you, if you're getting into some water that you are new to the practice, always bring some water to the face and get the front of the cortex of your forehead cold and your face cold. This is the part of the brain that responds to fight or flight. And so when you can actually let it know, here's what I'm doing, here's the temperature of what's happening, this is what we're walking into, you'll have less response to that pull out of the water the moment you get into it. It really helps. The hot and cold therapy, there's also red light saunas. There's saunas you go into and just go in for a steam bath or hot sauna at the YMCA. I say YMCA because I live in a small town in Oregon, and our big thing is the YMCA. But it's really nice and fancy. But the point is that we have a sauna there. We have many different things. We don't have cold plunges, but there's a lot of places now, a lot of facilities are starting to have cold plunges at their facility to also engage in different therapies. So you could also do it yourself. You can also find a river and go down the river. It's really up to you, but just getting your body into a level of coldness that it's not used to, in between 32 and 50 degrees. So you don't have to start off at the coldest. In fact, I would recommend you don't. And give yourself a time limit, with cold therapy. Like, you just say, I'm going to go in for a minute and a half, and just have the goal be you breathe into that minute and a half. I would advise you to do some breath work before you go in, let the system calm down. You can do some Wim Hof breath work. There's different things that are recommended online, many different things. You can ask Unity for some breath tips on Breathwork Fridays for that. But yeah, so those are recommendations for the week. And it's just really empowering. One time I was shifting something through my back through CrossFit, and was really challenging to walk. And I just got in some cold plunges every day, and the cold plunging takes inflammation away, and helps recalibrate the system. Will give you energy. Highly advise you to do it on an empty stomach. with that understanding. It doesn't have to be in the morning, but even if you have like breakfast or lunch and you're going to do it in the afternoon, like give some time for digestion, 2 or 3 hours before you go in the cold plunge, just so you can have that process. There's so many benefits of it, and I kind of talked about the other day on the class or the integration call. Like a lot of people will do hot and cold therapy. I choose not to do that. I prefer to do like cold therapy one day, hot therapy the next, and have a separation between the two. I don't go like cold plunge to hot tub to cold plunge. There are so many benefits you get from both. I let the system really receive that. So when I come out of a cold plunge, there are things like Wim Hof recommends to do, like you stand like a horse stance and hut, try to like warm yourself up. I don't do that. I let my body warm itself up. So I do go through a process of shivering, where the body is beginning to move some cells and move some, contract some muscle fibers to begin to build some heat for the self. But I let my whole system like elevate itself and regulate itself and heat itself up. I feel like that's where I maximize the benefits of the cells, the damaged cells or free radicals being burned off. I feel that's where I maximize the ability to burn the brown fat, or the fat doesn't serve my body around my organs, to create some heat. So all these things that I do to help the process, I do not do anything to counter the cold. Besides wiping off the water off my body, I don't do anything to counter the cold and let myself warm itself back up. And that's where that's where a lot of the benefits you're going to get from the cold therapy come in, is the actual heating process afterwards. So the cold does something incredible for the body, for sure. But if you're looking for more like health benefits, they talk about what comes from the cold plunge. It's about letting yourself heat up afterwards. So also with the hot therapy, with the hot yoga. It's really beautiful to let your body just let itself cool itself down afterwards, and go from there. So if you have any questions, let me know. These are both really, really potent practices. QiGong is for one whole part of the body. Hot and cold therapy is for something different. As I mentioned, I'm going to give you many different practices to try in your roulette of self-love, self-care practices, and go from there. So beautiful to you, and blessings to cultivating your life. And the true expression of each one of you is a work of art. You have a unique gift or talents to offer this world by just being who you are. And if it wasn't for your expression, we only helps us be more of our true expression. And so by being a true expression of who you are and yourself, only impacts the entire quantum field of all of us, and helps all of us give ourselves permission to be our true selves. And so bless that about yourself and cultivate that being within who you are. Okay, blessings.